Good morning. Today is study guide day. So we actually have two study guides. This one labeled just plain old study guide. It's double-sided, so it's 1 through 15 on the first side, and it has 5 questions on the back that are open-ended, like explain this or explain that, or it poses a situation and you explain the situation. So the backside's kind of the deeper thinking questions. There are 2 versions, like I said. This is regular study guide, front side and back side. So there's my open-ended questions. And then we have study guide version 2. So you can see the version 2 on this, and that is also double-sided as well. So version 2 is the homework. It's regular old study guide. You can call this study guide A, or study guide 1 is the one that we do in class. So let's get started. Let me grab some markers here. Great. So side 1 is 7-1, 7-2, 7-3, 7-4. Straight questions, just like you would have seen on your worksheets. Although you have this review video, if like you're stuck on questions like this, you're like, those negative exponents, they really get me. Well, you can go back to the videos that are on the negative exponents, and I labeled the videos with not just the section like lesson 7-1 or lesson 7-2. I actually described the lesson, so 7-1 was on 0 and negative exponents. So you go back to 7-1 because that's where you were struggling. So there's lots of videos online, okay? So let's get started on this review. My hope is that you're gonna try the whole thing front and back by yourself. That would be the best thing. You try it yourself, you go through the TRY, don't CRY. So go through the try, go through the, great areas, and that's going to be a struggling area for me. But first I would say you try it yourself, and then come back to this video and we can go over them, okay? Cool, so let's get started. So we have this first row of questions, pretty straightforward. And let's see what we got going on here. So we have a classroom of students. We have 5, and we have F. So I just wrote who we have, and then I'm going to share a little 3 with them. And although that's a great answer, you really should multiply this out. This is 5 times 5 times 5. Not 15, 5 times 5 times 5. And that would be 125. If you absolutely need to use a calculator, you're welcome to do so. First answer, done. This one, not really too much to do. I see that one person would like to stay because they're a happy exponent, and this A would like to go. So we're just simplifying. Remember, you don't need that one. You can have it if you want, but you don't have to have it. A simplified answer cannot have a 0 exponent, and it can't have a negative exponent. And any numbers that you can multiply out, you should. It's just a good habit. Let's try the next one. I have 3, I have a 4, and I have B4 in my classroom. I'm going to share a little 2 with everybody. These 2 are power to a power. This is not. This is 3 times 3, which is 9. This is A to the 8, and that's B to the 8. How'd you guys do on those first 3? I hope you did well. Nice. Congrats. Let's look at this next little batch here. So this one looks just like one we're going to simplify. So anything with a positive exponent stays, positive exponent stays, a negative exponent goes. And although that is a beautiful answer, we should multiply out 7 squared, which means 7 times 7, not 14, 7 times 7, and that would be 49. That would be my final answer. Question 5, anything to the power of 0 is 1. And then we have question 6. So I'm going to put it all over 1. Anything with a negative exponent, which in this case is everybody, we're going to move them all downstairs. So let's do that. So I'm going to have a 1 space holder. 5 is going to go downstairs. A is going to go downstairs. And B is going to go downstairs. And my suggestion is to multiply out the 5 times 5, which in this case is 25. And that would be my final answer. So that would be 1 on the top as a space holder, and then 25A4B3. I hope you did well on those first 6. I'm going to erase and I'm going to do the next batch of 6. Again, if you haven't done these yourself, I would highly suggest you give them a rock and roll. All right? If I'm the only one doing them, I'm the only one learning. So you need to go through the struggle, because the struggle is where you learn. The struggle is always where you learn. I learned more from that first F test in calculus in college than I did from any other test, because that really kicked me in the rear. It hurt my feelings. And I studied for that F. I think that was the most painful part, right? So I learned from that. I had to study different. There was something about the kids around me that they studied differently and they were more successful. Although that pained me to know that, it was an eye-opening thing. And I was able to join a study group, and I learned some better study techniques, because that class was difficult. I mean, it hurt my feelings, that class, I will be honest. Okay, so let's look at this next question. We have a whole lot of stuff. It looks like we have 3 things, but we don't. We really have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our first step is to separate everybody into their individual pieces. I haven't done anything crazy. Literally x, y12, x3, boop, boop, boop. I would suggest putting a 1 on those that don't have an exponent, just because we can see it better. Now we're gonna organize, just like you were organizing your room. Let's put like things together. So x1, x3, x2. And mark them off, so just in case you might think, I forgot one. And then we have these guys. And mark them off. Okay, yep, got you, got you, got you. Perfect. Now the rule is, when multiplying with like bases, we add our powers. So this is going to be x to the 6. When multiplying with like bases, the y is the like base, we add our powers. So that's 17, 18. Final answer. Miss Miller, can I put the y first and then the x? Definitely. There is no rule that things have to be in alphabetical order. I just like that as a preference. Next, we have 3, x4 in my classroom. I'm going to share a little 2 with everybody. That's 9. And we have a power to a power. This is 3 times 3, and 4 times 2 is 8. Final answer. This one's a little on the spicier side, because we are not just sharing a 2, we're sharing a negative 2. Woo! I'm going to leave this guy alone for just a moment. This one, power to a power rule, I'm going to multiply. So 6 times 2 was 12. And I know that every stinking one of these wants to move downstairs. Why? They're just unhappy. And although that is a beautiful answer, we should multiply out 9 squared, which is 81. That would be a great final answer. And again, 9 times 9 is 81, and you're welcome to use a multiplication chart. Ooh, well, this is snazzy. My first suggestion is, let's reduce these front numbers. I'm thinking of a number like 2, 3, 5, or 7 that equally divides into these. And I can see that 3 does. So 3 goes into there 5 times, 3 goes into there 4 times. So 5 on the top, 4 downstairs. Okay, we've tackled the numbers. Again, I look for a number, 3, and it divides into both evenly. And I reduced. Now I'm going to leave the x's alone for now. And then I'm going to flip the y's, because you're unhappy, so you go downstairs. You're unhappy, you go upstairs. Now I'm going to simplify. So the 5 and the 4 change. Now I'm going to ask myself, where do I have more x's, top or bottom? Bottom. By how many extra are downstairs? 6. Where do I have more y's, top or bottom? Bottom. By how many extra y's do I have downstairs? 2. Final answer. Let's go to this guy. So first thing we do is reduce our front numbers. We're going to look for 2, 3, 5, or 7. Some of you automatically see a 6. That's great. Do that. That's the quickest approach. But I'm going to go with 2. 2 goes into there 3 times. 2 goes into there 6 times. Now I see that a 3, 1, and 2. I've now reduced it completely. You would have gotten the same answer if you reduced by 6. I have kids that are struggling thinking of bigger numbers. So then they don't try at all. So let's go with our smaller numbers, right? 2, 3, 5, 7. So these are great. That guy is great. Oh, this guy's got to move. Perfect. Okay, final answer. We have our 1/2. Where do I have more x's? On the bottom, by how many extra? 2. Where do I have more y? Well, they're all upstairs, Mrs. Miller. Well, how many y's? If y's are yogurts, you have 9 yogurts, 5 more yogurts. That would be 14 yogurts. The 1 is not needed because the y is holding that upper spot, but if you like the 1, then you go with the 1, okay? Good job. That's your final answer. Next, we have 3 and B. They're in a double-decker portable, and this teacher is sharing a 2 with all these students. That's 9 all over b squared. Final answer. I hope you did well on those. I'm going to do the last 3, and then we are done with the front page. Congrats. Okay, let's take a gander at this. All right. So we have this guy here, x to the 8, I'm not going to tackle yet, but I have a power to a power. 2 times 5 is 10. Now I have multiplying of like bases. I'm going to add my exponents. Final answer. X to the 11, I'm going to leave alone for now. I have a power to a power. 3 times 6 is 18, but it's negative. Don't forget that negative. I'm multiplying with like bases. Let me add. Uh-oh. Are we allowed to have a negative exponent in our final answer? That would be a big ol' nope. Final answer. Cool. I hope you got that too. And last question on the front page. The next video will be part 2, which will be the back part. Okay? Next. Ooh, this one's a little snazzy. We got x 15. X negative 10. So we had a power to a power twice, and now we're multiplying with like bases. We're going to add our powers. X to the 5. Final answer. Good job. I hope you did well. My suggestion would be to print this study guide over and over and over again. It will be on your Canvas module under study guide, and do it again and again and again and again. The more times you practice, the better you're going to get. Come back for video number 2, and that will be the back side of your study guide. Have a great day. Bye.